A big hello and welcome to the fun part of the course. And I know that is probably one of the most nerdy things I will say in the next 10 minutes, but this is going to be the most interesting part, or one of the most interesting parts. It just gets more interesting from here, essentially. But well done for making it this far. I'm going to briefly explain here what we're going to work on in the next few modules, and then we will go and get on and start building everything. Okay, we're going to create a dep node in this course. This provides us a way to interact with Maya's base nodes, nodes with no object dependency, using a Python class-based approach. The base class allows you to perform various operations on the nodes, such as renaming, deleting, checking existence, locking, unlocking, and more. The dep node class constructor takes two arguments. It takes the node, which is the name of an existing node, or the name of a new node to create, and the node type. This is an optional node, which can be used for creating a specific node type if the node doesn't exist. The class provides a simple and convenient way to work with base nodes in Maya. So here's a code example. So we are going to create an instance then of our dep node when we're working in Maya. And in this instance, we're going to use, say, a made-up group called sphere group. And let's say that we essentially use an instance of our dep node and assign it to the variable dep. And we're then going to add that sphere group to it. Now we can rename the sphere group because it's the dep is now an object, a Python object, which is interacting directly with the Maya API. And we can say dep.rename. Okay, we can quite easily delete the object by going dep.delete, open parentheses. We can literally start accessing our objects in a much nicer way. And I know that for these a few examples, you could use the Maya commands. But once you start getting to lock, once you start wanting to access the attributes, once you want to start doing more and more to these objects, you're going to need more and more lines of code. So this is just the early abstraction, essentially, of the base node and the dependency node within Maya before we start getting to more complex tasks. You've got to start very much at the beginning here, and like we did with Python inheritance within our Python crash course, this node, or this class, sorry, will then be inherited by our more complex classes going forward within this set of tutorials. So hold on, and it will get far more logical. The reasoning will become more logical as we go on. So we will then move on to setting up some testing functionality in this module that will help us confirm if our work is correct and running as expected. Please go back to the testing module in the Python crash course and watch that if you haven't already, as this will just be a very quick and useful series of a series of information for you to watch and kind of and learn about if you don't know anything about testing. If you've already written various unit tests, if you've already gone through testing previously, yeah, probably wouldn't worry about it. But yeah, it might be just useful just to jog your memory anyway. But our test code is going to be a series of unit tests for our dep node class. The tests are going to be written using the unit test module, which again comes as default with Python. And the setup method is going to be called within each class, which is going to set up the necessary base nodes and test dependencies. And then we are going to use the teardown method, which will be called after each test case, which then cleans up the nodes in our scene and allows us to test everything that we need. Thank you so much for listening, and I'm looking forward to jumping into the code with you in the next lectures.